Welcome to another episode of Your City. I'm your host, Diane Parker, and we are joined today by Derick Miller. He is the Streets and Traffic Superintendent, and thank you so much for inviting us by. We are here at the Billings Operations Center, and as you can see, there's a lot of action here, a lot of snow plows, and just the equipment that the city uses every season. So let's start out, Derick, and maybe talk a little bit about what is going on in the winter here. I know we have snow plowing going on right now. Take us through what that looks like every year.
Correct, yeah, so snow plowing is really hard to anticipate. We got to figure out what the weather is beforehand, how much snow we get, and then the weather afterwards. Currently with this last storm we just got done, we had nice weather before the storm, and then we got the accumulation, and then we knew the weather was going to come. The temperatures were going to come up after the storm, so we decided instead of plowing, we're just going to put some product down and help with traction, and then help also melt the snow off. So.
Okay, and what are the other options? So you have the product that you can put down. When we get a lot of snow, I know I've seen the augers and the snow going into the truck, and then where does that go? Is there a snow dump somewhere?
Yeah, so we have two different sites around town, one up by the airport and then also one down on the south side. So what we do is we'll plow the snow to the center of the road, and then we use our snow blower to blow it up into the back of the trucks and then haul it away and dump it. It's a great system. It gets rid of the snow, but is really expensive and labor intensive.
Okay, so that's kind of saved for when we have those huge storms.
Correct. Yeah, once we activate the snow plowing, it's right about $30,000 a day for us, and then also about $36,000 a day to activate residential snow plowing. So we like to hold that off. We try to be as good as stewards with the tax money as we can, and so we save that until we absolutely need it.
Okay, that's good to know, because I know sometimes residents, they want to know, what's going on with my neighborhood. There's a lot of snow here, and so this has to do with the budget, and that's budgeted for every year.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, very good. And I know you guys also have some cleanup times during the year. Talk to us about when those are, and is there anything that the residents should be aware of?
Yeah, so typically we'll start out the year with what we call a spring cleanup. So that's going to come and pick up all of our salted sand that we use for traction during the winter time, and then just natural debris that falls off of vehicles throughout the winter. And then during the fall, we have what's called the fall cleanup. We'll go around, sweep the streets. The whole point of the cleanups is to keep that out of the storm sewer. All of our stuff drains eventually to the river, so we want to try and keep as much of that material out of the river as possible. So we go around, pick that up. We have our big cleanups in the spring and then also in the fall.
Okay, and are there things that you run into? Are there things that it would be helpful if the residents didn't do, for example? Like, of course, no one wants litter, but I'm sure that happens.
Correct. Yeah, so like the fall cleanup is the big one. As the leaves start falling, the city does not have a leaf pickup program anymore. And so we have our sweepers go out and clean the gutters. It picks up the leaves that fall naturally in the streets. And people aren't supposed to blow their leaves out into the street, but it always happens. And then right after we go through and pick up all the leaves, somebody ends up blowing them all out into the street, and then we have to go back again. And the street sweepers move at about 2.3 miles per hour, so it takes a long time to get through the entire city and pick up all the leaves and debris.
Okay, so that would be helpful if people did not blow their leaves out into the street on purpose, right?
Correct, yep.
Okay, very good. So talk to us a little bit about the different types of materials that you guys use just for everything that you do.
Correct. So like in the wintertime, we have three products that we rely on for taking care of snow and traction control. So we have a liquid de-icer that we'll put down. We got trucks that spray that out. They hold about 2,000 gallons of liquid de-icer, and they drive around and do that. We have three of those trucks. And then we also use what's called the salted sand. The salt in the sand is designed just to keep the sand from freezing during cold temperatures. It's not actually designed to melt the snow. And then we have a product called Slicer. It's a trademark product that we use. It's by far our most expensive product, but it's by far our most effective as well. So we use that. It's a red product, so if you're driving around and you see red on the ground, that's typically our Slicer product that we use, and that's a natural salt compound that's mined from underground.
Okay, very interesting. What about maybe some of the more summer projects that you work on, like asphalt?
Correct, yeah. One of the big things we have in our community that's is a milling machine and a paving machine. So with the milling machine, we're able to do some of the smaller projects that the larger contractors isn't as cost effective for them to come out and do. So we'll mill some of the smaller projects And what it does, it turns out to be a far better project and time savings. Running our milling machine over it, it chews up the old asphalt, and we come in with our paving machine and lay down new fresh asphalt.
So I know during the summer months, something else that you guys are responsible for is also the landscaping, the maintenance, sprinkler systems, things like that. Talk to us about what all is involved there.
Right. So along our arterial streets, we have some landscaping adjacent to the roadways and stuff. Like I use Shiloh Road for an example. Along Shiloh Road, there's 42,000 sprinkler heads that are involved along there. There's 113 different sprinkler zones. And so we have guys that have to go out and maintain all of those sprinkler heads and then also mow those areas as well. One of the struggles we've had and everybody else has is getting seasonal workers in to come do that mowing. We rely heavily on the seasonal employment to take care of those. We had 5 of them last year, but we usually like about 13, and then the previous year we had 0. Wow. So it really impacts our ability to maintain those areas efficiently.
Okay, so there's a huge need for that. So if anyone's listening and you'd like a seasonal job, you know who to get a hold of. Okay, so what about the storm drain systems? What all goes into maintaining those?
So we have a pretty elaborate stormwater drainage system throughout the city. So we've got inlets at a lot of the corners, and some of them are partially down blocks. So we have to go through and clean and maintain those continually to get them drained. A lot of times during storms, it'll flush the debris located in the curb down on top of those drains. They'll plug up and flood. And one of the things we've had is we've never had a really good condition assessment of our storm sewers. So we, a couple years ago, started televising our storm sewer system and doing a data collection on it. So we know what areas are collapsed, what areas are still good, and then also what areas are full of debris that we need to get in and do some extensive maintenance on to clean them out and get them flowing properly. We're about a third of the way done with the city right now, and probably another 4 years we'll have the whole city TV'd and have a condition assessment of everything.
Okay, very good. There's a lot that goes into everything.
Correct.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I just, we rely heavily on the citizens for reporting them. One of the issues we have a lot is street lights on at night and stuff. So if you guys happen to notice a street light out, go ahead and we got an online submittal form where you can let us know. We can't go out every night and check street lights throughout the whole town. So if you happen to see something of that out, go ahead and make a report to us and let us know address of where the street light is, and we'll get out there and check it out. And then also our traffic signals. We got a product out we've been installing for the last 5 years. It's called Grid Smart. It's a computer system that goes through and manages all of our traffic signals for us. So it can pick up, it tells us our traffic counts, they're going through the intersections, which direction they're headed, what lane they're in, and also how long they wait. So our traffic engineer can go through and calculate the times on that to most efficiently move traffic through town. We have almost half of them done, and probably got about another 7 years of going through upgrading all those to the new Grid Smart system.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And how many traffic signals are in town?
We have a little over 100 that the city maintains, and then there's another 60 of them that the state maintains throughout town.
Okay, very good. This is also a great chance to let our viewers know a little bit about you. So I know we were chatting before the show, and you've been in this role for about a year as superintendent. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, a little over a year now.
Okay, and what were you doing before this?
So I got 21 years in with the city before this over in what's called distribution and collection. They take care of the water and storm sewer, or the water and sanitary systems. And so I was over there for the first 21 years.
All right, well, we want to thank you so much for everything that you do to keep our city looking so nice, and thanks for all the info.
Right, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, let's check in with Debi Meling. And we're here with Debi Meling, the Public Works Director for the City of Billings. And Debi, we are right in the middle of winter here in Billings, and I know you guys have a wonderful program going on. It is for folks who maybe can't get out to shovel their sidewalk, because this is something that's required. We need to be keeping our sidewalks shoveled. Talk to us about that.
That's right. So adjacent property owners are responsible for the sidewalk next to their home, or business. So if you have a corner lot, you got to do both sides. Otherwise, you just do in front of your property. But we recognize there's a lot of people that's really hard for. So there's a program called Snow Buddies, and you can go online, and there's a phone number you can call, and I think you can notify them online as well. And they'll connect you with people that will come and take care of your sidewalk for you.
Okay, that's amazing. So is this volunteers? Is it like city? It is? Okay.
It is. It's a volunteer program, yes.
Okay, wow.
Volunteer to go and be a snow buddy. which is great too.
Okay, that's wonderful. So is this something that people should utilize if they're going on vacation, or maybe they've tried and they just don't have a solution for it?
So it's really meant more for the person that can't do it.
Okay.
If you're going on vacation, it would be nice to get a neighbor to take care of it for you. Or so we don't have an unlimited amount of volunteers,
Okay.
as you can imagine. Yeah.
Okay, but it's great that you guys have thought about this and just keeping it in mind for the folks that maybe they aren't able to get out and push all that snow. I mean, it's heavy.
It is. Yeah, it certainly can be a lot of work.
Yeah, it sure can. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of the projects that the City of Billings has been working on this past year.
Sure, we had a big construction year. We started with Wicks Lane in the Heights. From the east side of Main Street, we're kind of chipping away at Wicks Lane and getting it done over the years. So this was the next phase. Widened it, did some sidewalk work, and so now it's a little safer corridor. 32nd from King to Gable was a big project. I know a lot of people missed that road being open all summer, but the hill is a little softer than it used to be. But you've got pedestrian facilities now and a third lane for a turning lane on the north side. So big improvements on that road.
I know, because you used to drive over that hill, and if you were going a little bit too fast, your stomach might jump up. So it's nice the grade will be a little bit less. Okay.
Yes, a lot of people are disappointed. I guess their kids all enjoy going over that. So a little disappointing, but safer. And then Hollowell Lane on the south side, we did complete that project this year. So that was another big one. So a few road projects. We did get the intersection of Rimrock and Virginia. We've been planning a signal there for a while and got that installed this year. So that's been a great improvement.
Okay, and I know you guys also have a focus on safe routes when kids are walking or biking to school, right?
That's right. Right. So for several years, we've worked with the schools to determine how kids can get to each school safely. So we try to find a route where there's a crossing guard or where there's sidewalks or an enhanced crosswalk, a flashing beacon or something. And so what we've done is pull this all together to make sure that we get the improvements done, to be able to communicate it with the kids, to say this is where you need to be, and the parents, of course. So right now we're in a feedback stage, and so it's online. You can go out and you can really give us your thoughts on, are we coming up with the right information here? Is there more things we're missing? And then over the years, what we'll do is we'll just start chipping away at that program. And so once we have a plan, we'll be able to do the construction necessary to make those routes safer.
Okay, and how can people actually give their feedback?
Online, there's a way that you can actually click on it, show where you're talking about, and then put your comment in there.
Okay, wonderful.
At the City of Billings website.
Okay, so go to the City of Billings website if you'd like to comment on that. You guys just are in charge of so much and keeping our city looking great and functioning well. I want to talk a little bit more about the traffic signals that Derick and I talked about. That's really fascinating, and you guys are keeping track of a lot of things, the safest intersections, maybe some of the most dangerous ones. How does that work? Do you guys work in cooperation with the police department? How does all of that come together?
Right, that's a great question. So yes, we do track crash history. So the way signals work is to install a signal, you have to have a warrant. So it either has to have so much traffic, so much conflict traffic, so many crashes, something to say, hey, this intersection needs improvements. So we use all that data, and it goes into either installing a signal, maybe making a left turn, a protected left. I think a lot of people have noticed the new flashing yellows and the green arrows. So that's all based on numbers. How many people do we have, and what do we need to make all those intersections safer? So yes, we do track all that information.
Is there anything else that you would like to add?
I think just your conversation with Derick about GridSmart, one of the really great things about technology is that it can create more efficiencies for us. We can't be everywhere 24/7, but our cameras can be. And so these cameras are not red light cameras. I know that's been a concern in the past when people see our cameras up there. But what they do is they help us gather information, the length of lines, if people, like Derick said, are waiting too long. But also, when we are at our desk, we can take care of an issue. So if there's an accident somewhere and we need to give more green time because of a detour, we can actually do that from our desk now. And so the efficiencies that we're gaining by that, using that technology, have been amazing.
That's really cool. So do you have someone monitoring that at a desk all day, or does the police department call you, or how does that work?
I wish we had enough personnel to monitor it. We don't. So more often than not, what it'll be is a complaint basis. So we'll get a phone call that says, hey, one car's getting through the signal at a time. And so we'll sit it down at our desk and we'll pull it up and we can actually see, yep, only one's getting through. For some reason, it's recalling quickly. And so we can actually change that right on the fly. We can change the green time, get that queue cleared. We can change the timing right there. We can do all of it at our desk.
Okay, great. So what's your cell phone number? Because people need to be able to text you, Debi.
Well,
okay.
yeah,
we tried. Okay, so tell us a little bit more about your background. I know you've been with the city for about 16 years and in this role for just over a year.
Right. So, boy, I did a little bit of everything before I came to the city, but came 16 years ago and was a city engineer for 15 years. Absolutely loved it. To be able to see what needs to be done in our community from an infrastructure standpoint and do it has been an amazing career. I've loved it. And then about a year ago, became the public works director. So starting to learn a lot about operations and all the different side of what public works does.
That's great. So how many employees are there in public works?
So right now we have about 265, give or take. It seems like every day we have some vacancies and hire people, and so about 265 on a given day. We hire about 30 seasonal. So in the summertime we're running more around 300. Try to get those sprinklers addressed.
Right, and like Derick mentioned, you guys are always looking for seasonal employees.
Always, and actually full-time employees as well. So we've got lots of openings.
Okay, and just to give our viewers an idea, big picture, what is the budget that you guys are working within and kind of what are all the categories that you cover?
Sure. So this year we have a huge budget. It's $227 million this year, which we've never had a budget that big, but we're building the West End Reservoir. So that's why we have an extra $100 million in our budget this year. We've saved up for years and now we're going to spend it. But normally we run right around the $140 million a year, and we have 7 different divisions, big divisions. So we have the solid waste, so our garbage pickup at our landfill. Got streets, which takes care of the storm drain streets, signals, street lights, all of that. We've got an engineering division. We've got water plant and wastewater plant, the water system, wastewater system, all of that. An environmental group, and I'm missing someone. And fiscal. Well, our financial, we do our own billing and everything too. So yeah, it's a pretty big operation. A lot of people working hard.
Yeah, that's a lot. Well, it's nice. We want to thank you for everything that you guys do for the city because it's a wonderful city to live in. We have great streets and, everything is taken care of. So thank you so much, Debi, and thanks for inviting us by.
Right. Thanks for coming.
Yep. All right. We'll see you next time on Your City.